I was recently having a conversation with one of my clients, and she was telling me about how she got a new puppy. and I'll tell you, anytime you get a puppy, it could challenge your world a little bit. I was telling her about one of my stories about when we got our dog, Tommy. And I would wake up in the morning, it would be like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would need to take him out and walk him. And oftentimes I wouldn't feel excited to do so. So I would walk Tommy, and I'm walking him, and he would be sniffing around. It's like dark and getting eaten up by mosquitoes. And I would say, like, yell at Tommy, like, Tommy, hurry up, come on, like, come on, find a spot, right? It's like my patience was very tested, and I would feel so triggered. I was tired, I was fatigued, and he would just take his sweet old time sniffing around. And I had a conversation with my coach, and I reached out to my coach. I said, all right, so why am I getting triggered by my dog sniffing around? And it was interesting, the feedback that he was offering me. And he said, the relationship that you have with yourself, there's something that's not being congruent. There's something that's not being congruent. Are you taking time for yourself to kind of get centered before you walk Tommy? I said, no, I'm just waking up and taking him out. He said, well, why don't you just get centered before you go walk Tommy? I said, well, I don't want him to, take a dump in the house or pee. He said, what's the worst thing that happens if he does? So, well, I got to clean it up. Lindsay would get mad. He said, and? He said, what's more important? You feeling triggered for your entire day where you can't show up because your dog is sniffing around, or you being able to get centered beforehand? And the likelihood of him not even peeing or pooping in the house is pretty small anyway. I said, you're right. I said, you're right. So I took the moment, moving that forward, and Tommy never peed or pooped in the house, but I took my time for myself. I went on my own morning walk. I did my own breath work. I got a connection to myself. And once I got connected to myself, my heart, my breath work, my goals, my affirmations, I just felt so much more light, so much more free, just so much more capable, where I had like a drop down menu of emotions versus just aggressive. And then I would walk him. And I would walk him. What's interesting enough is when I would walk him, he would sniff around. I was able to find the beauty in that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I would be playful. Like, oh, you see this, smell this Tommy, and like let him off the leash for a little bit, play with him a little bit. And it was a lot more light because I wasn't so wound up. And here's the thing, the wound up, tight energy of go, do is the masculine. And toxic masculinity is what I was projecting on the poor little innocent Tommy, is this toxic masculinity of just go or else. I am righteous and you small little creature, hurry up. It's on my terms, right? That's like the toxic masculinity. All masculinity is so tied to male. It's not true. Masculine is just the achiever energy. That's all it is. It's the achiever energy. So the achiever energy, meaning like just let's go, control, do. It's the energy that gets stuff done. That is important energy. But when it's toxic, where it hurts the innocent, and Tommy in this case, then that's where toxic masculinity comes from. Then on the opposite end is the femininity. Feminine isn't attached to female. All feminine energy is just the free flow, the joy. It's the joy within the achievement. We need both. That's not female. Feminine energy is the joy and the bliss and the enjoyment that comes from the achievement. So by me getting get a chance to take time and get centered and patient and calm. Calm is another great word for feminine energy. Calm is a great word. So when I was in this calm energy, that's the feminine energy. What's toxic femininity is when we're so calm and so relaxed that we don't do anything. We just get stuck on the couch and we don't do anything. It's like the toxic femininity, where it's like completely opposite into the spectrum, where it's like we don't do anything at all. We're so in the free flow of joy and just kind of go with the flow that we don't get anything done. And that's the toxic femininity. So there's a spectrum of masculinity and femininity. And we need to be able to call forward both of those energies synchronistically working together in a relationship with ourselves. We need to be able to call forward the masculine to get things done, and then call forward the feminine to enjoy the process of what we're working towards. And when we're able to do that intentionally and have such a self-awareness with ourselves to be able to know which energy is needed in the moment, that's not only going to help us have a great relationship with us where we can reach the higher frequencies of emotions of joy and bliss and euphoria, but it's also going to allow us to have great relationships, especially companion and intimate relationships. Because with those people in our life, if that person is needing a masculine approach, but we're too feminine, we're too soft and gentle, or if they need a feminine approach and we're too masculine, where we're like, just do, stop talking, just go start taking action, it's not going to be healthy for the relationship. So it's very, very important as you're listening to this, to number one, get more in tune with both sides of the spectrum. I highly recommend you reading a book. It helped me a ton with my intimate relationship with my wife, but it's called The Way of the Superior Man. The Way of the Superior Man, fantastic book with understanding how to call forward the type of energy needed in that intimate relationship. So I absolutely love that book. I've studied it. I've read it several times. It's fantastic. So if you're in a position where you need some help on how to call which energy forward and how to understand each of them, please let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you. This is something that has helped me tremendously in my life. If you know me well, you'll know I'm the youngest of 8. I'm a mama's boy growing up, and mom passed away when I was 20. So I owned like a lot of feminine energy throughout my life. And my wife is the oldest of 3. Her father passed away, and she took on this like patriarchal role. So she was in this masculine role in her home, and I was more in this feminine role in my home. And in order for us to have polarity, which is opposites, I need to be able to activate my masculine to be able to help her feel comfortable to be in her feminine, because there needs to be polarity in our relationship. If she shows up the masculine and I show up in the masculine, now we're going to butt heads. And that's where it's like, I said this, you said this, it's I'm right. And we're constantly butting heads. And that was what happened in the beginning stages of the relationship. But now the beautiful part about understanding, if she shows up in her masculine, I need polarity. So I got to show up in my feminine. I show up in my feminine, allow her to bring the guard down to help her see that the masculine is not needed. I help her feel safe. I help her feel seen. I help her feel understood. I help her feel validated, bring her guard down where she gets a little bit more to equilibrium. And that gives me space to show up in the masculine, which is to hold and control and protect her and help her feel safe, because I know I'm going to do that as her man. And by understanding the polarities, it's going to allow you to strengthen your intimate relationships dramatically. So if you want some work around that, please be sure to let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you. So again, make your difference, keep growing, and use these tools to make small incremental changes in your life and in your relationships so you can make a positive change in the world that we live in.